Epic Universe is the brand new theme park in Orlando, Florida. I've had the fortunate opportunity to have spent 3 days at this park, and I absolutely love it. This place is absolutely amazing, and it's absolutely one of my new favorite theme parks I've ever been to. But because it is brand new, there are still ways that Universal can improve this park to make it even better than it already is. I made a expansion wish list video for Epic Universe well before the park ever opened. So now that I've actually been to the park, I kind of wanted to reopen that door to see what could be added to this park to make it even better now that I've actually been and I understand the dynamics of how the attractions and lands work together from both an operational and theming perspective. So you can think of this video as a sequel to that wishlist video I already made. I'm also going to include operational notes because Epic Universe isn't perfect from an operational perspective, so we'll dig into that in this video as well. So overall, I have 10 ideas to improve Epic Universe. Before we get started, please like this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know how you would improve Epic Universe. What would you add to it? What would you change about the existing attractions? I would love to hear. And of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. YouTube says we have over 30,000 returning viewers every single month, but we're nowhere near 30,000 subscribers. So if you've watched more than one video, I would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Starting things off with number 10, I do really think that Stardust Racers needs to have more efficient dispatches. The operations of Stardust Racers could honestly get a video of their own. Like, it's very interesting. It's a very unique setup because you have to go through TSA, which a few roller coasters make you go through TSA to experience them. They are very strict with loose articles on Stardust Racers because it is a dueling coaster and because it goes near walkways. But like, it's not like this is a new thing for Universal because they've been doing it on Velocicoaster, The Incredible Hulk, and Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket for years. So like, it's not a shock that Stardust Racers has this system, but it's still a headache for the guests. Also, something that I noticed about Stardust Racers is that it felt more oppressive and more invasive than some of the other attractions like Velocicoaster. After you go through metal detection, Stardust Racers lets you pick between the green track and the yellow track, and then once you're in that line, you kind of have like, it's a 20 to 25 minute wait until you're actually seated and experiencing the attraction. So it does kind of suck that you're without your personal items for 20 to 25 minutes. Whenever I ride an attraction that has this locker policy, I swear it always breaks down when I'm in that section where I can't have my loose items. So like, I'm unable to contact other members of my party who may not be experiencing the attraction with me, and it's just such a pain in the butt. It's so annoying that I bring that up because that did happen to me at Stardust Racers. And the most frustrating aspect about it was a self-inflicted downtime because they decided to close the ride to stop operation to add a third train to both tracks, which like, normally that would be all well and good. Like, I would be a big fan of that decision, but this was like 90 minutes before closing, so I was kind of like, bruh. And I swear the downtime was like 30 minutes, which is absolutely ridiculous. You have 90 minutes left in the park's operation for the day, so you decide to close the ride for 30 minutes to add a third train to both sides so you can be more efficient during that last hour of operation. There's no way that stopping operation for 30 minutes meant that more people got to ride Stardust Racers that day. And it created a ridiculous headache for all the people in the station. Like, there was absolutely no warning. It felt completely arbitrary. And as an operations nerd, I felt the decision was completely baffling. So, whatever. It is what it is. The park is still new, so I'm sure there's still like, maybe there was a maintenance reason why they did that, but still, it's kind of frustrating that they didn't wait for the park to close to add those third trains. The point of this segment is, I would really like Stardust Racers to have more efficient dispatches. Because I spent a day at Epic Universe where Stardust Racers was running 3 trains and they were consistently stacking. I've spent a full day at Epic Universe where Stardust Racers was only running 2 trains, and even then they were stacking, which is like, that's terrible. That's pretty bad. It's a really long ride. It has an unload and a load station, so it's really bad if Stardust Racers stacks with 2 trains. But if you think about it, Stardust Racers has 10 rows, 2 riders per row, so that's 20 people per train, and because it is a dueling coaster, they dispatch 2 trains at once, so that's 40 people out of time. And what I noticed is that because they dispatch 40 people at a time, the odds of a guest not being able to lock the restraint were a lot higher. So of course, whenever that happens, that is a delay for everybody. So it's not great, but it is just kind of an unfortunate reality. But like, even aside from that issue, I felt like the operators could have been a little more efficient. I rode this attraction 11 times over the 3 days I spent at Epic Universe, so I definitely suffered in this line quite a bit. And I do think that it can be better because Velocicoaster has really great operations, and I think Stardust Racers should be able to get to that point. But I guess we'll see. This list is kind of ranked by need, so in my opinion, more efficient dispatches at Stardust Racers would improve Epic Universe the least, but it would still definitely improve the park experience. So moving up to number 9, I ranked an additional portal and obviously a themed land attached to it. So I kind of thought that Epic Universe might feel a little small with only 5 themed lands, but all five of them are really well done. So I don't think, obviously I would be thrilled if Epic Universe got another portal and another fully themed land. I would be ecstatic, but I don't think the park necessarily needs, like, that would just kind of be a luxury down the line. I think there are a lot of other things that Epic Universe should improve before they open a whole new can of worms with a new themed land, you know? Like, there are so many prospects for what that themed land could be. So many ideas have been thrown around. The biggest plot of land is actually in between Stardust Racers and Harry Potter and the Ministry of Magic. Could be the largest themed land in the park, which is absolutely jaw-dropping, because the scale of some of the existing themed lands is insane. So it would be really cool to see Epic Universe get a 5th portal, or I guess a 6th portal technically, in the future. But I would rather see some other things be improved first. Moving up to number 8 would be an additional thrill coaster. I'm not sure where this could go. The Ministry of Magic is the only themed land without a roller coaster, but I don't necessarily know if that would be a thrill ride. Another thrill coaster in Celestial Park would be kind of crazy, but it would be very cool. I know some people have said that Epic Universe needs another thrill coaster, but I'm not really on that boat, at least not yet. I do think it could use a few other things before this park gets another thrill coaster. And I think the only reason a lot of people are saying this is because they just compare this park to Islands of Adventure, and of course Islands has Incredible Hulk and Velocicoaster, which, yes, they're both thrill coasters, and I think it's really cool that they're kind of on opposite sides of the park, so they're kind of facing each other. That does create a fantastic energy in that park, but I don't think Epic Universe needs that, at least not yet. Moving up to number 7, I really think that Donkey Kong Country could have some more theming. When you walk into the land, it's an absolutely beautiful reveal of Minecart Madness and the Golden Temple. But when you turn around to leave Donkey Kong Country and head straight back into Nintendo World, you're kind of just looking at the backside of a warehouse. So this might be, of the things that we've discussed, this is probably one of the easier things that Epic Universe could improve, but I think that's a really gnarly juxtaposition between entering and exiting Donkey Kong Country, and they could have done more work to soften it, to make it a little more immersive, because right now it just kind of feels like a one-sided land, or I guess Donkey Kong Country is technically a mini land. Moving up to number 6. This is a very similar criticism. I really think they should add additional theming to the Untrainable Dragon in Isle of Berk, because right now it's just kind of a blue building in the back of the land. It's a very obvious show building, it's a very obvious warehouse, and in my opinion it's the only ugly corner of Isle of Berk, which is such a shame because it's in a beautiful land, very immersive. I know some people complain about the sightlines of Stardust Racers from Isle of Berk, but I think that adds to the dynamic of Epic Universe. What definitely detracts from that is this massive blue show building in the back of the land. So I hope that they can theme it more in the future, but we'll see, I guess. Speaking of eyesores, we're moving up to number 5, which would be additional theming to Curse of the Werewolf. My biggest problem with this attraction is how freaking ugly it is. It's so nasty. It's by far the ugliest corner of Epic Universe. So in my opinion, it needs some love. Not only do you need to take the nets off, I really think that the ride itself needs more theming. Like, it's ridiculous that it ends with a static figure. I haven't really been too hard on it, I'm really hard on Incredicoaster for using static figures, so I think it's only fair that I tear into Curse of the Werewolf. Like, that should be an animatronic, so I hope they can replace it with an animatronic at some point. Can get rid of the nets. I hope the trees grow in, because honestly, it kind of feels like it's just racing around some bushes. Like, I don't even know what trees will grow. I feel like Curse of the Werewolf should have been much more atmospheric. I feel like they should not have built this ride over the walkways for Dark Universe. They should have tucked it away by itself. I feel like that really would have added to the ride experience. But I do think that this iteration of the attraction can definitely be improved, because as it exists right now, it's probably the least themed attraction in the entire park. Moving up to number 4, we're kind of going to move away from improving existing attractions, and we're going to look back into those wish list ideas, starting things off with a Creature from the Black Lagoon dark ride. So I discussed this in that wish list video. I think this would be a really cool addition. It would make Dark Universe feel a lot more complete if it had another e-ticket, especially if it was a boat ride. That would be really cool. As it stands today, Epic Universe only has one water ride, which of course is Fire Drill. And this would be very, very different from Fire Drill. It would be a themed experience, or like a dark ride, I guess. Which, that's another thing. A lot of people have complained that Epic Universe is not the best park to be in when it's raining, which happens a lot in Florida. Really, only the 3 dark rides are able to stay open, and apparently the carousel may or may not be open in the rain, even though it is a covered attraction. So Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, Monsters Unchained, and Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry are the only attractions that will be open during a rainstorm, unless of course they're experiencing technical issues, which is a whole other thing. So adding another dark ride would give guests something to do while it's raining, which would be greatly appreciated. And adding another high quality attraction to Dark Universe would make that land feel much more complete, much more fleshed out. Moving up to number 3, this was actually my favorite idea in that wishlist video that I talked about. It's a How to Train Your Dragon flight simulator. Flight of Passage is one of my favorite attractions of all time. It's an absolutely euphoric experience. It's pure magic, and I feel like Universal has the property and it has the land to make an attraction that could compete or destroy Flight of Passage with How to Train Your Dragon. I feel like it could be even more emotional than Flight of Passage. There was a rumor that this How to Train Your Dragon land was going to have a flight simulator, but of course that did not happen. But I am still optimistic that it will happen one day. I think it could be one of the best rides ever, at least in my opinion. I know when Flight of Passage first opened, a lot of people considered it one of the best rides in the world. It kind of feels like some people are slipping on it these days, but it still means a lot to me. So I would love a flight simulator themed to How to Train Your Dragon, especially with the music from How to Train Your Dragon. Oh my goodness, it's so good. It could be unreal, absolutely unreal. But the reason why it's ranked number 3 in this video is because Isle of Berk is by far the most complete land in the park. So there are some other areas that Epic Universe should address first, in my opinion. Speaking of which, for number 2, I really think Super Nintendo World needs to add a high capacity dark ride, preferably themed to Luigi's Mansion. That is my favorite rumor that's floating around. I think that would be so cool. It could be very atmospheric, very fun, and it could be another mini land just like Donkey Kong Country. And just like the How to Train Your Dragon simulator and the Creature from the Black Lagoon dark ride, a Luigi's Mansion attraction would obviously be indoors, so you would increase Epic Universe's rain-proof offerings. If you watch my ranking of the lands of Epic Universe, you saw that I put Super Nintendo World last, and one of the major reasons that I did that was because the existing attractions in Super Nintendo World are pretty low capacity, and the popularity of Nintendo is absolutely through the roof. So I think Super Nintendo World is desperate for a high capacity attraction. So I am absolutely stressing that this Luigi's Mansion dark ride needs to be very high capacity. It needs to churn through people, because crowd flow in Super Nintendo World is kind of a disaster right now, and I think this is a great opportunity to improve that. Try to get as many people out of the slower moving lines for Mario Kart and Donkey Kong and get them in a faster moving line for a Luigi's Mansion dark ride. I think it could be absolutely incredible. My favorite idea to improve Epic Universe would be to add an indoor roller coaster to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Before Epic Universe opened, there was a rumor that the second attraction within Wizarding Paris was going to be a broomstick simulator, like a VR attraction, but that got cut. So there is no second attraction within Harry Potter and the Ministry of Magic. But as I mentioned earlier, it is the only themed land within Epic Universe to not have a roller coaster. I feel like they should resurrect the broomstick idea as a roller coaster instead of as a simulator. I think it would be very, very cool. And just like the other 4 entries, it would be another indoor attraction, which would be wonderful for Epic Universe. So those are my top 10 favorite ideas to improve Epic Universe. Do you agree with the things I listed? Do you disagree? Please let me know down in the comments below. Please like this video, and of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everybody, and I will catch you later.